now going to very quickly go forward into our fourth session. Our fourth session is AI and hospitality. I'm going to hand you guys over to Ishan, who will be moderating this session.
So good evening everyone, and good evening panelists. Actually, welcome to the 10th edition of AiM. And just a disclaimer, the session will be interrupted with more coughing of mine because I had a sore throat a couple of days back. Just not to worry, I've got my COVID test done and it's a negative one. So I guess that's fine. Speaking of the topic, I guess we are here with all the analysts over here, like everyone experienced in their own field. We have the owners also, we have the people from technical background as well as from the IT department. To have a discussion which we've already been having in past sessions regarding the technology, the artificial intelligence, which is actually the new trend coming up in the whole industries, right? Just to give a brief background about how we came up with this topic. So, as you know, me and my father, we both are hoteliers. So, on our way back from a site visit, in the car we were talking about, I've been an ardent follower of science and fiction and time travel and whatnot, and I was watching my videos, and my dad asked me, what are you watching? So, I started explaining him the concept of artificial intelligence, technology, the whole time travel concept, the science fiction. And I still remember the look he gave to me. You know, he was always confused and thinking like, what the hell am I saying? And from there, the topic went from robotics to nuclear fission to artificial sun. And as we both are hoteliers, it ended up on hospitality. And we started discussing about how the key cards were, as Mr. Siraj mentioned a few times in the last session, like there were pigeonholes and the key cards. The keys were actually hung on those keyholes. From there to mobile check-ins and like how from your mobile you can directly operate your room. So we were having a debate within ourselves, and like, you know, as fathers are normally, he's like, you know, what do you think, how much people would actually go for this technology? I said, like, you know, with this generation X coming up, this is something like, you know, what people are looking forward for it. So to cut the long story short, I would say, like, you know, we would want to take that discussion, not the debate, from our car to something over an open panel. And like, you know, obviously with the experience that I have around me, I would have a better answer. And probably he must be listening with his all ear open to understand what technology is. So I would say that, you know, I would start the discussion with the panel in terms of the AI. How AI is there in our hospitality industry? Is it still at a very relevant infant stage, or have we adopted it and we are working upon it so that, you know, how this can be boosted up and the technology can be enhanced in our operations and also in terms of the pre-opening of the hotels and everything. So I would start the discussion with Mr. Hemant, like, you know, because Hemant is from the IT department of Radisson, and like, you know, I would want to know, like, you know, how he feels that, you know, how the artificial intelligence has been incorporated in terms of the systems and in terms of the hospitality. Over to you, sir.
Artificial intelligence is nothing new. We are given a name like, you know, what does it mean actually? Transferring the intelligence to a machine in a simple language. Like, we all are intelligent human beings. We use our own, you know, mindset. We use our own decisions, or we understand and then we take a call. But machines are one. They only take algorithms, meaning they only take instruction from humans in the form of intelligence and technology. Now, this is already there in hotels. You know, in a very small level, all the hotels are using this already. We never used to call this as artificial intelligence. Imagine if if you're making a very intelligent room, you are entering into the room and automatically the lights are coming on, automatically AC is coming on, or other things. This is also part of, you know, artificial intelligence. You know, but we never used to call this as a artificial intelligence. We used to call, okay, we are controlling some kind of gadgets through some kind of pre-fixed programs. But it has really evolved in a very big way, not exactly as of now in India, but India we are trying to do this. But yes, the rest of the world, it has taken a different, total paradigm shift has happened. How? First of all, I'll give you a small example that in a 200-room hotel, There are almost, if it is completely sold out, almost 200 rooms, meaning 350 customers staying with you. And they have millions of questions on a daily basis while they are planning to come to a hotel. It's called guest engagement, how you are doing it. They will definitely try to look for hotels in that particular region. They will try to, ask questions to different people, their own, friends, colleagues, their own, they will make my trip, I could go, or any, Radisson.com, RadissonHotels.com, or any other hotel company website and try to book an hotel. And then once they are in the hotel, then they need to know, they have to plan their day also, they need to understand which side is spa, which side is bar, what can I do during the evening, all that. There are, thousands of questions while a customer is walking into the hotel, they want to understand. And keeping in mind the limitation of staff, let's say, the guest relation executives or front office people or people who are escorting customers, they're very limited, they're not like, for every customer there is one person who can take care of them. So what this artificial intelligence has given a, dynamics to this particular, problem is they've given something like assistant. We call it chatbot, and a lot of companies other than hospitality is also using this as a tool to interact with customers in a real-time mode 24/7. You're not even dependent on, let's say, any human being coming to you, okay, fine, and then you can ask about what all events going on, what all programs I can attend in hotel, and if they have to work on concierge planning, okay, in the evening where I can go. Now this kind of chatbot is a very defined way in artificial intelligence which hotels are continuously using more and more, and we as a Radisson Hotel Group have already launched this in Europe. Now we are launching this in India, and there are almost 20-25 hotels in pipeline where the setups is going on. What is all about this system is, there are QR codes, either on the web, or they are in the rooms, or they are in the restaurants, or any public area where the customer is going. You just scan from your own device. You don't need any device from the hotel. You don't need anything. Just scan it, and then it will automatically tell you, okay, Mr. AiM Katal, good afternoon, good evening, or whatever time. How may I help you? Something like that. And then automatically the customer is asking their questions, and customers, getting response in back from the machine, which is intelligent, and with the intelligence is pushed by the human beings only. There are thousands of questions put in, thousands of answers there. Now the benefit of this is that customer is not dependent on any 2-3 people of front office. They are accessing each kind of information prior to coming to the hotel, while they are staying in the hotel, after they have left the hotel. Everything is connected through their own phone, and how it helps hotels, that there are, when human being is interacting with customers, nothing is getting recorded anywhere. Customers, what all questions customer have asked, what all answers customer have got from these employees, and what all questions were not answered. This is only in the mind of that human being who is interacting with the customer. But this, everything get recorded in a chatbot scenario, which is part of the artificial intelligence in the system. And then there are so many things like this which we can work in a hotel hospitality industry. One of the big factor is data. We all say data is oil these days, and once the growth of data is happening in a very large scale, we as hoteliers are also going for, okay, I'll just stop here and tell you the actual scenario. You have revenue management team in your hotels, very limited people, 2-3 people, 4 people, or might be you are also through a company where they have pool of people, but again a limitation. And the kind of data is gathering on a day-to-day basis with respect to what all events going in the market, other hotels, in exhibition halls like Pragati Madaan nearby, what is happening there. Everything is if the data is through artificial intelligence crawled, gathered, and reconciled again and again, and the scripts run on these systems which a human cannot do each and everything at any given time. Human, there is a limitation to it. These machines or this particular softwares are calculating, capturing the data, calculating, and giving you a real-time scenario, and based on this, you can do your pricing. Automatically system will suggest you should do this kind of, which we call it as hyper pricing and all that. That immediately at any given time things are getting changed. Hotel market is, hotel whole city is sold out. You should immediately push to a different kind of rate altogether. So these kind of things are very important and which are happening in part of artificial intelligence.
Sure, absolutely. Data right now, as you very well mentioned, is the king.
Yeah,
Everything is dependent on data. And Partosh, what do you think? Mr. Hemant was talking about the whole data collection and knowing the nitty-gritties of the guest. With this customer feedback, the online reviews. Now we are better equipped to know that what exactly the guest wants. So do you think this artificial intelligence has actually helped the hospitality to know what exactly the customer wants, what exactly needs for a stay, and how much satisfaction can we provide through them?
Yeah, I think Hemant has covered most of it. And let's understand what artificial intelligence is. The right definition is the capability of a machine to imitate intelligent human behavior. So ultimately it is us which are feeding the machines intelligently. And the limits are endless, trust me. They are trying to introduce softwares which can decipher unstructured data, like going to a customer or guest account and finding out from his Instagram page what kind of preferences they have. And that is the world we are looking at in years to come. A guest, the team which is sitting, the GRE which is sitting, they would know, the F&B guys sitting would know what is the preference of the guest by actually calculating where the guest has been, what kind of reviews they've made for other hotels, and what irks the guest, what makes him happy. And that is the kind of data we are talking about. And also, there are a lot of consultants who will come to us that artificial intelligence, head bots, replace people. It's not about that. Artificial intelligence should be used for service enhancement, not for cost reduction. That is the biggest mistake which we all are making, right? So, the capacities, as I mentioned to you, are endless, and I think, Hemant is right, Radisson Edwardian Hotel, I've stayed there. They were the first one to use artificial intelligence in room service, check-in. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes. In fact, I have written out there at Edwardian Hotels, they have that AI chat box in which you can type and probably
yes. So it's not that they have replaced the people who are sitting, taking their room dining orders. They've just made life easier for the customer. The customer, what irks you most? You keep on calling the in-room dining, they don't pick it up. And then you say the service is bad. So then you have these bots who are taking your orders. They have this data fed that this is what you require, and then you get a confirmation from a human that this is the order we have received. And then you get, because as humans you need that confirmation, right? We need that human touch. I keep on talking to my friends that we as an industry are the only industry, even in apocalypse, we require human touch, right? We can't, we are hoteliers, right? It has to be. You need that guy, you need that GRE welcoming you, you need that wellness guy going up, making small talk with you. So again, coming back to your point, data is extremely important. How you use that data, and let humans do what they do the best, and let machines do what they do the best.
So your key points, depending on how this data collection has actually changed the customer, the ideology of the customers in terms of the hospitality, and is it a boon for us? Is it that and will it help us in generating revenue? That's the cost. That's the thing that everyone's looking for.
So thanks for the question, and as you just mentioned, it's not about the revenue, it's about the experience, what we should be more focused on as being in hospitality. So adding before even answering your question, the good part was the esteemed panel earlier, even the interior designers and the architects. The good was, I calculated they spoke about 58 times of technology as a word. So the good was that, and within HRM you could see AI is already there. So that's on the lighter side of it. So AI still remains and AI is there, and knowingly or unknowingly, we all are still using it. As hospitality would go, you spoke about the data. So as he rightly said, people going to Instagram, we are talking about sometimes privacy intrusion. We are talking about GDPR coming in, which is very much and specifically for the foreign travelers. Even we as in India are actually in a ratification stage of our Indian IT policy. So I've been part of that, and it's been in drafts in the last 4 years, not coming out. A lot of bureaucratic and other legal issues. So yes, the data is most important. Data is the key to it. Data, is one part of it. Then there's the machine learning, and how do we actually analyze it and use it for the best. So whether for the best guest, giving them a wow factor, or getting it for your revenue, as you said. So I would say why artificial intelligence? I would say if you really see to it, I think important for every organization is revenue, as you said, the guest, sustainability, and operations. So these are the 4 key takes, which exactly revolves around and why that's AI is required. So let's, as a story, I would say, as Hemant rightly said, guest when he starts booking on, you get the choices, you get suggestions. This is the place to go. You even set in your tariff. You even get a choice of travel.
All the filters.
All the filters. You get a choice. Like, whether you want to go by road, by air, by what's the best way to get in. Then when you are in there in the hotel, I could say, you get the wow factor when it is experienced. We are trying to do that. Of course, as an Indian scenario, we are bound by the legal authorities. As a complainant, I have to show my passport or my Aadhaar card. Or I would have really walked in through the door with my key on my handphone. So so that data is all collected.
Sure.
So one is, and then the most important is, if I am a loyalty member, I am a regular traveler, so my hotel already knows what kind of a temperature I can do. So that's a factor again. That's again a data. So I'm talking about all these are small things.
The nitty-gritties of
the
personal likes and dislikes of the
exactly. My lighting choices, my OTT contents,
the food are right, the things
the food, the IRE. To more to it is, just to add to it, we are trying to even collect the data when even staying inside. Now with the consent. So right, we are trying to do some properties where I'm saying let's go away with the cabling. Right? Your handphone would work everything, even your room extension. Now with the consent, again I'm sorry, I'm coming back again, it's all the data is going back. It's like I order a food item to the IRD in my room, but for some reason I get an urgent call. I move over maybe to the swimming pool or to the boardroom and somewhere, and the IRD is able to track me along. So I am like, I'm ordered and I'm in served. So wow, that's a great factor, and there's efficiency is attached. The IRD doesn't need to move around, he knows where to serve the food.
And such experiences you remember.
Actually, so those are things. So, actually, as he said, the experience is important. I could divide hospitality into 2 factors, depending on the age groups. One is, we talk about super luxuries, where they would still sit on a knee and take an order. You need that human touch, as he mentioned. Second could be the millennials. As you said, the millennials, Generation Z or Generation X, they don't mind talking to machines. They are fine with it. In fact, they feel that it's more efficient. Why not I use it? And then the data is there. But again, I'm saying, most important is your privacy, your GDPR, your intrusion. So those factors come, wherein we all are trying to work around.
That's great. So how do you think how have you induced artificial intelligence, or probably those we call the lingo Internet of Things, inside your company, and how do you see what is the future of the same?
So I'll bring on an operator's point of view because my technology bandwidth is not the greatest. From an operational point of view, the hotels have always been one of the largest collectors of data. We have so many points of guest contact where we're collecting data at all stages. Even in the earlier days of the Whitney system, we always collected data in some form or the other. The question is, we never really utilized it, and till today, if you really ask me, we are just scratching the surface of utilizing that technology, that data. The way I divide artificial intelligence is basically into 2 aspects. There's the conversational AI, which would be your chatbots, your a Google Assistant.
Google Assistant, yes.
I mean, we've all seen that video of how Google Assistant is really making a reservation into a restaurant and you don't even know the difference between Google Assistant and a human being. Then the other part is the mechanical AI. I don't think we brought mechanical AI into hotels at all. So, for example, robotics or
Which was supposed to talk at the later part, definitely, yes.
yeah, so we haven't really touched much of mechanical AI, which people have actually started adopting even in their own households. Today, I mean, the penetration with COVID of your mechanical robot cleaners in the houses has exploded, right? But it's far from getting into hotels.
Like, you're a hotel owner, so just wanted to know, like, obviously we're talking over here artificial intelligence. How do you think that involvement of artificial intelligence in hospitality industry is there versus the other industries which are there? And like, do you think like, we will be able to cope up with such industries, or like it will be something that's a slow and steady process?
See, technologically, we are way behind in the curve, to be very honest, as compared to any industry for that matter. Probably we're using the technology, but we are not utilizing it to the potential of the technology. You're not utilizing our favor. I'll give you a small example. You go to any hotel website company, right? And we talk about hotels versus OTA at times. You go to any hotel website company, you search for a hotel, it will show you next price. You will say, okay, let's say 10,000 rupees. You'll close that app, maybe you'll go to some other app. Now you open a Make My Trip, you see some hotels in Delhi, and let's say you've not booked through the makemytrip.com or whatever. In 6 or 7 hours, there will be a follow-up on your email, on your registered email. Make My Trip shall send you an email. Hey, listen, we were looking at you scrolling through the city of Delhi and you were looking for some of the hotels. These are some more suggestions. You won't get a follow-up email from any hotel company as of late, right? You will never ever get an email. Although they already have the data. I went to the app, I searched for the hotel, I looked at the pictures, but are we really taking that factor that, somebody's looking for us, why not just make sure that they book us? So, the utilization is not really there as of late, to be very honest. Even that even goes with Swiggy, like how they have beat us at our home game. They are taking the bottom lines of the hotels and the restaurants, just like any other thing.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, you look for a pizza from Domino's, there will be 5 more. And then, what happens is, then we talk about the hotels, we talk that, Swiggy is not good, Zomato is not good. They are actually better at what they do than what we are doing. The hotel restaurants have a tough time in today's world. We started outsourcing these restaurants. Why? Because, again, the data comes into the perspective, the technology comes into the perspective. The restaurant owners were there, they are able to utilize these apps in a much better way than a hotel staff is able to do, or somebody working in the hotel is able to do. I mean, the presence of these apps and then how they are communicating with the guests again and again with that data collection. I get a lot of messages from these standalone restaurants. You had come on this late, you had this, we have this ready for you next time whenever you're coming, just give us a call with a message. Again, from hotels, we don't really do that. So, collecting data, yes, it's important, but utilizing it is probably more important.
So you were saying you were about to say
I'm
something.
just playing devil's advocate. Look, in hotels, we've always been reluctant changers of technology, and there's a reason for it. The speed at which technology changes. For us to adopt change in technology, it's expensive. So if you look at the last 2 years, what we never had on our hands is time, which we did in the last 2 years because we were all sitting with time on our hands. But while we had time, the money vanished. So we have no money to research and to change technology. So it's a constant problem with the industry to really change and to bring in new technology.
I think coming back to the point Vinayak made, and Sohail's point as well, yes, it is not necessarily changing the entire software system. It is about putting those little softwares at every department to enhance the service experience. That is what is required. Like if you can have some technology in your banqueting facility, which doesn't require much investment, but you have, instead of how about getting a guest and using AI and all those tools to actually show him on a 3D or virtual reality how his wedding or conference would look like. So those are the kind of experiences which we'll have to do. And you're right, we have always been averse to technology, and it's about time we change our mindset and having the right CV analysis done.
And I think with the change in conversational AI, okay, it's the easiest to adapt for hotels because the cost of conversational AI is not very expensive.
Exactly.
My next debate was exactly the cost effectiveness. I was about to say, we're all talking about smart hotels, we're all talking about hotels in which you can change the lighting, you can change the thermostat through your mobile applications. So how do you think, we are talking about these hotels, we want to build such kind of hotels, how cost effective these hotels are? Will in using of such smart appliances, is it the cost of which we incorporate such thing is more, and revenue generation will be more, customer satisfaction will be more? Just wanted to have some views about the cost effectiveness of the whole smart hotel thing. I believe certainly a lot of hotels I'm making a point, some hotels in Vegas, some hotels in US, they involve a lot of Amazon Echo in their room systems, in which they can control the whole lighting, they can control the TV, they can control the temperature. Do you think that same thing can be used in India, in corporate India, or still India is it's a way forward right now? I guess it's a time to think.
I think that saying, if you've heard of a hotel called Fly Zoo, this is Alibaba's initiative.
Okay.
It's in China. And where is the zero stuff? Practically zero. The check-in, the check-out, the IRD, everything is through Windows. It's actually a balance between what do you want to say and what kind. As I said, you have to differentiate by the kind of hospitality you want to take. Is it that and that is your target, or is it luxury which is your target? So what is the compromise? So there is a balance which has to be done. Now when we talk specifically about this hearing, the Alexas and Ecodots and Google Homes, fortunately or unfortunately, these guys, these boxes are always listening. So yes, sometimes, so I'll give you an example. I'm talking about the days when we had a television and we never wanted to use two remotes. So for that reason, what we did was we did a compatibility between, or a connect between the set-top box and the television and put an IR in front of the television. So there were some guests who said, no, there's a camera there, I don't want to change it. Just kindly remove it. So that it's not that, it's more like adoption and more like the kind of the guest what we have. As I said, we have to differentiate and divide our guests.
Absolutely.
Alexa is good, it's great, we're all using it at home. But when the guest want to stay there, when it's listening, that's the law.
Sure. And in terms of the cost, do you think that it's not a cost, apart from the Alexa, but then the other artificial intelligence, let's say, a lot of software or smart applications with your preemptive reports, the reports which tells you about your stocks, reports which tells you when the repair maintenance, reports which tell you about anything which is the future in advance, and for the betterment of the operations also, or probably the pre-opening also, is there a system which we can develop which can tell us before the pre-opening, before how much cost will be there to make the hotel, what will the cost of capital, something like that.
I'll give you one example. Another chain, what they did, their HR point of view. There's, larger chains, they have, number of more positions and more number of people working with them. Now, collecting, again, it is coming as all the analysts have said, data. There is a data of almost 50,000 employees working with them. And then there is a data of, down the line, another 2 lakh aspirants who can join a particular hotel chain. This AI tool, definitely going forward, can run so many good combinations of this particular data and analyze, come up with the sentiment effects, come up with, that, okay, in a position, which particular employee suited best. Okay. Manually, if you have to hire people, more and more, so that, your job will not be taken care of. If you have these kind of AIs, this will definitely give you a benefit of cost saving in growing talent within your own talent, across the chain. And in the absence of these kind of intelligent systems, like we call it, where just giving you the data and the queries and then the repository coming back and all that. So this kind of one example will definitely save you cost. And secondly, the main in a hotel industry, as you rightly mentioned, pre-opening or after hotel opening, the main cost of any hotel is HLP, let's say, heat, light, and So rest out then payroll cost and then other costs on the input. If you have some AI implemented on these kind of boiler plants, chiller plants, and your AC services, all that, which is really consuming a lot of energy, water and all, this will definitely based on customers' data, in customer behavior, customer liking, customer presence in public area or in a room. It will work in conjunction with both systems, and then they can set up the outputs like that. Okay, when you want to switch on what kind of AC, what kind of chiller, when. Now there are a lot of areas still we are doing it manually. Imagine if there is a thing which require maintenance for cost reduction. It's not like machine is continuously running. There will be a time when it will be expensive for you. You need to maintain this. And these kind of robotic maintenance, if it is done, not to replace the human beings, but yes, to help human beings. Let's say one example. You hotel rooms corridors or public area corridors. If there are robotics who are continuously cleaning those corridors without additional cost, 24/7, so it makes sense. It gives you a feeler that okay, you can save cost instead of definitely there will be a ratio of employees in a hotel versus one, but you cannot go beyond that. There will be a limitation. So these kind of things can help human and organization in saving the cost.
So I just want to know, you're an operator, and yes, Mr. Vinayak, they are the owners. So do you feel that the owners they have some hindrances or challenges if you think that you want to induce more of an artificial intelligence into the hotel, or have they accepted it in a way that they're happy to use it because of the whole cost thing? Is there any example or probably do they mention how much will they cost? Will it give me revenue back?
At the end of the day, if you're adapting any technology or if you're making any changes, there has to be an ROI to it. And as an operator, it's our duty to be able to convince any owner that look, if I'm going to make this change, I'm going to either save you your cost by so much, or I'm going to increase your revenue by so much and give you a return on your investment. And if you're not able to make that argument and convince an owner, then you shouldn't be even pitching. So you can't just pitch a change for the heck of change.
So if an operator comes up to you and he says this is certain things, it will help you in the ROI, would you want to change it, or would you want to just see the traditional way would be working with it?
See, actually, being as a thought of owner, what I would say is it would totally depend on the ROI of the existing prevailing ROI of that particular hotel. Right? What happens is every technology is amazing, right? The Tesla is great, maybe some next Mercedes which will come in would be great. But does it really belong to that hotel as of late? For example, if there's a particular brand standard in terms of technology which needs to be applied, we should definitely look at the category of the hotel that we are applying. So, for example, one of the 5-star hotels that we own, we are more than game to experiment anything there because we have that kind of bandwidth there right now. Whereas there might be a hotel in our portfolio itself where we may be very hesitant to do that.
Sure. So, gentlemen, there was a thing I wanted to ask, especially we talked about robotics, we talked about because I did some research of mine, the Hilton in last year, Oni, which was the robotic things. I was also reading in Japan. There's a hotel called Enanani, something which has almost 90% of the staff as robotics. So do you think it's a myth that with all this robotics and AI, artificial intelligence, the human or the jobs for humanity will be is insecure, are people insecure, or it's a venture in which they can open much more spaces for people actually working with artificial intelligence hand in hand? Do you think that it's a myth, or it's just probably there is an opportunity in this artificial intelligence for humans?
It's a very Hollywood type of thing. You've got all the movies coming that robots will come take away all our jobs. When make my trip like Expedia, we still have travel. We still go to that travel and get it to service, right? In fact, paper trips and Expedia of the world have provided more jobs to the travel industry than these travel agents would have. If you talk about Uber, Ola, they provided more employment. So why our industry, every industry, like I said, AI has to be used. Machine has to be used to make it work easy. That is what Arvind Khan said in 3 idiots, right? Chetan Bhagat said he imitated it quite intelligently, I would say. So I think it's just the robots, they can do a set job, but they can't give you the right touch, which is required for our industry or our expert industry. So yes, as I mentioned, let them do what they do the best. They gather the data. Analysis is extremely important. Data is useless if you can't analyze it and give us a solution. And let humans do what they do the best. There was this session before this where even in designing, we were talking about emotion quotient, right? There is this human element in designing, and now where we are already a human industry talking about technology, let technology help you, assist you, enhance you. So we have made machines are not like us.
Oh, that's good to know that, I guess a lot of jobs have been secured.
Yes.
And also, sorry if I may say, also, we are comparing human or machine. We should not say human or machine. We should say human and machine. That's the way it has to work. And imagine if somebody is artificial intelligence, it's like a disruptor in technology world. There are a lot of technologies will go back and this technology will come in front. And this will give a lot of benefits to a lot of job seekers across the world.
Which has happened.
Which is happening. A lot of people will get a job and developing these kind of things. And understand what you so rightly said is that machines will not replace ever human being. To be sure. Machines are under our control. They do only that thing which we tell them to do it. Otherwise they will not do it. And definitely humans are always on top of it, and nothing. It's completely a myth altogether.
I guess the movie Terminator is a myth.
Yes.
It's not happen like that.
It's completely a myth. It will not.
Great. So one of the last questions which was always in mind, with this all internet and the Web 3.0 coming in and all the metaverse is coming in, the virtual reality is coming in, and I've seen a lot of real estate people have also started giving those virtual tours of their properties. Do you think, not currently, but in coming times, hotels would be something in which there would be a 3D vision of the whole hotel, a tour of the hotel, or probably a virtual tour of the hotel, and which will make the guest much more feel safe, this is the hotel I'm entering to, this is the places, this will be my room, and I'm virtually seeing my room and virtually being in there. Do you think it's a time, it's a process, or will that be a great thing for the customer satisfaction? I guess everyone can give their own valuable points about the whole virtual reality thing in terms of the hospitality, which I still feel it's a baby step, and I guess in the long run would be there.
So, I would say, you see that series happening, upload. That's quite
Yes.
It's and that's okay, that's a myth, and that's okay, but that's something good. But as you rightly said, we are in fact doing that on the properties in Mumbai, which is a Birla tallest towers happening, which are actually doing the same, what you just mentioned. One can actually feel that he's on a 70th floor and how good body it look like, So that gets in, but it's more more it could be like booking your seat in your flight where you're just choosing it's an aisle or a window. I think that could be, you could just, or in fact, if the latest what is happening is Expo 2020 in Dubai, you can actually be on the Google and just see it, So those can just be visualized, but
right now, we have your VR goggles and phone. You're actually sitting in Amsterdam and looking at the streets of Amsterdam.
As far as how does it really, it could be good for maybe for sightseeing or places around for the hotel. Not necessarily. That's my point.
So the real question is actually when are you going to see the first hotel in the metaverse?
That's what I'm saying, because with all the news and the buzz about the metaverse, I see, probably not today, but in the next few years, we will be seeing hotels in the metaverse.
So they're already having weddings in the metaverse.
Exactly.
And this will be a big marketing tool coming up for the hotels. It is already there for automobile industry. And during this pandemic time, people who could not see new cars, their features, automobile industry have really picked up, definitely. And sitting in their own homes, houses, or they're using their own devices, they were able to access. Similar thing will come for hotel. And if your hotels, in past also were doing 360-degree virtual, all that. But what hotel is now, there are few hotels which, one of the project I did in past, where it's not only talking about hotel. they are developing destination. Let's say people, there are a lot of people who cannot visit when they are in Delhi. They have to visit Agra, Jaipur, or other golden cities and all that. So by using this virtual reality, they sitting in that hotel, they can have a complete view of, they're watching, going into Taj Mahal, looking at it, enjoying, coming back. There are more evening pressures and all this. So these sort of things.
Exactly, that's the first time when I saw a real estate project wearing those VR goggles, going to each and corner of the room. So I was also feeling happy, sitting out somewhere out in Delhi, watching somewhere, hotel being, the real estate being, somewhere else. So that's why, that's what the question I asked, maybe in future, I can just sit probably the 10 years down the line, with my VR goggles, checking into Taj Hotel and just having a virtual tour of the whole Taj or visit. So that's why.
Very nice to be connected with the payment gateway. So that the billing comes to hotel.
Absolutely. Guys, it was a nice session. I guess we all could come to know about the whole artificial intelligence and hospitality. I would also like the questions to the audience if there's any. There are many also now.
My question can be answered either by Hemant or Sanjay. Tomorrow, if you see Alexa taking over a guest room and she's under pressure by the ownership to increase the revenue, calls up the guest and says, you need to spend 4 more nights here, otherwise I will call your wife and tell her what you've been doing in the room.
That's a great one. Yeah. So,
You answer first. It's very.
Sorry. Yeah. No, so I think that was one of the title of. So yes, Alexas, but there are devices that people are really exploring an option where they are. Of course, Alexa has been tried. I will not name the chain. It's an international hospitality brand. They've already done a POC, but it's not been to specifically with Alexa. But there is a different device which is already there, which would actually do this, and this is very simple. So as even Ishan asked, as per infra goes, we do not need to spend anything as a owning company. It can still be doing the same. We have devices from the different OEMs in the networking industry where they talk on Zigbee, the RCUs happen in Zigbee, the conversion happen on Zigbee. So if you want to make it smart, so AI and smart is quite close, and that in hospitality. So things can happen.
So my question is there a possibility of being blackmailed by AI?
Yes, it can be. There have happened.
So there are market for it.
Yeah, so to make it simple, there have happened 2 episodes in US where there was an incident that even they are divorced. And ended up to a divorce.
It's like we not be saying that properly.
welcome to the world of artificial
Alright, so just a comment first. There are 4 of us sitting here. Most of us are in the 6th decade of our lives, and some of us in our 7th decade. So we were first and foremost. It's a very interesting session. We enjoyed it, but there were some things that we didn't understand. So I've been asked to ask what is metaverse, and second, what is Zigbee, which I just heard.
So okay, I'll answer the question. Second question,
Even I have not understood what metaverse is. I mean,
to answer that. So I'll take the second one. So Zigbee is a protocol. So it's more like a Kennet. So it's a language. If I want to talk, so it's a Tamil. It's English. So that's Zigbee is a protocol which when I talk, and my equipment talks. So for example, I have a lighting, I have a HVAC. They all talk on Zigbee, and there is a controller which talks on Zigbee and then it takes it further. So we create a transport as an IT, and we take it over to the maybe a BMS system or a DRM system, and that is all. So Zigbee is basically a protocol.
Okay, I'm not asking
I want short explain what exactly metaverse would be. So we all knew that there was an internet web which came in, and the web would only have there was an email system. You send an email and then probably you could reply back to that email. Then Web 2.0 came in which the conversation started to happen. We started to give a reply and immediately the reply was coming back. There was a lot of content which you could post, but this content was being used by only few of the companies like Facebook, Microsoft, they all are declining. Now there's Web 3.0 in which you can acquire land or you can be on internet. You can take a portion on the internet and the content will be provided by you and you can be able to manage that content within yourself. You will be holding that piece of land or you will be holding that portion by yourself and nothing else can manage it for you. So that is sort of a metaverse and all the companies are creating their own metaverses. And I guess the look which you're giving me right now is the same what my father gave me when I was trying to explain him about the whole metaverse and the cryptocurrency and the blockchain technologies. And
Most of the fathers have revised their will.
So it's a virtual land. It's a virtual land that can be held by you and you are the owner of that land.
And sir, let me tell you, you said all 460 secretaries, but you are the main person where we will come to you. Maximum people who are on 70, 60, although somebody mentioned that young crowd definitely will pick up, Generation Z will pick it up, but let me tell you, the senior citizens, they are more getting into all this. We answer millions of questions on a daily basis. They have more interest to understand how things are going, why this is done, how can I do this, because they have more time, let me tell you, than anybody else, after they are retired. So we are also trying to target, and there is a separate program we are trying to build up only for this segment of people, so that they are given some extra support, help while they are staying as, we call it as single lady customers. But hotel industry is also going towards the senior citizens staying with you. How we can help them, and there are literally a lot of people are really tech savvy. You can say that.
So I'll give you an example of how metaverse would work in a conference like this. So supposedly 10 years down the line. So these conferences can be done virtually. We can have a piece of land on the internet. We can create the whole Radisson Hotel. We can create this whole conference hall. Everyone's going to have its own avatar and probably going to be present out here. You sitting at your home can attend this conference while wearing your virtual reality glasses. So this is sort of the concept of metaverse, which is still a newbie, which is still, I think it's in a development phase. But that's a sneak peek on the metaverse which I can provide you from myself.
Gentlemen, my name is Ramesh Paul. I have a question primarily. When will this artificial intelligence, will it stop somewhere? It will continue to evolve, because I can never see maybe a luxury restaurant being served by a robotic. I can never see a presidential suite primarily being serviced by a robotic. Because we have this myth that this industry, the highest paid guest is served by the lowest paid employee. When we say machine and robotics, are we trying to eliminate jobs and try and replicate the jobs which would be done by, let's say, the associate level through robotics, whether it's a chambermaid or carrying luggage? Will jobs get reduced at the lower level in the hospitality industry?
I'll answer that. Ramesh, it is, as I mentioned, it is that humans do what they do best and that machines do what they do best. We have to find out where we are wasting our human capital. Like while you're checking in, you definitely need a smiling face of reality in a luxury hotel. You need a bed desk, having a small talk, that's what I mentioned. But while you're checking out, you just need those kiosks. You just go there, punch in, and then you're out. You don't need human over there. Like Hemanji mentioned about robots cleaning your corridors. That is, you can't get a robot cleaning your rooms. Only human can do that. But yes, you can take the pressure off your housekeeping staff by hiring those robots to clean the corridors, probably some public areas. So it's a mix. Yes, you're right. In a presidential suite, you definitely need a butler all clad in white and serving you. But yes, that butler, the information will be given by the artificial intelligence. Suppose if you're running late and your flight gets delayed and you're checking in a hotel at 11 o'clock, but while you're transiting from airport to the hotel, that's after our journey, you get an email from the hotel with the room service menu. Sir, you're late. Why did you order your room service? As soon as you reach, the food is served hot to you. It's all about using the artificial intelligence rightly, and it is limitless. It is not going to end. The more information we'll get, the more information we'll analyze and give it back for service enhancement. So coming back to your point, I don't see any job reduction. So it's if, as I mentioned, if a consultant comes to you, put in artificial intelligence bots, it will reduce your manpower cost. Don't buy that theory. You do. Just use it to improve your service, improve your sales, and definitely improve your profits. And that is endless.
I'll ask you a question. Like with all this technology coming and artificial intelligence coming in, do you think the jobs have been reduced or have there been more enhancement of jobs?
So I'll give you one example. Earlier, while there are a lot of ATM machines you can see across, every corner, but it has not reduced the job for banks and banks. It is very simple layman language. You can say that. It will definitely, what Sir has said, it is definitely going to increase the service level, the experience, and the works which are dangerous in nature can be done by the robots instead of human putting his or her life at risk.
Absolutely.
These are the things.
Yeah, but if the ATM wasn't there, wouldn't there be a man employed at the bank to draw out the cash?
It is already there, sir. You will see in bank, the more and more earlier the bank accounts transactions were less.
Right after the
The usability has increased.
So early 80s.
It has
Early 80s, ATM was introduced with the theory that bank wanted to reduce their manpower. But eventually banks realized that people were still coming to the bank for all the other transactions apart from withdrawing cash. Both fronts, opening accounts, there is a problem. So ATM actually helped people get closer to the bank. And bank never used to reduce their manpower. It was just a service enhancement. That's what Hemant is also talking
In
about.
fact, Mr. Sharma very rightly pointed out, there's a chowkidar which has got a job because of an ATM now. There's a traveling man which comes and takes the money, there's a bank, there's a driver who comes and gets the money, the ATM goes back. So the job perspective has increased, not knowing like what level, but jobs have been in place to do such kind of work.
Not in the hospitality industry.
We will get to that.
And also the ATM, sir, if answering to your question was it's 24/7 and the reach has increased. So it's like automatic teller machine or all-time machine, all-time money kind of. So it's like
one last question here, but we never end today's session.
Hi, I'm Gurcharan from Security Concepts, and we are into the same kind of a field. So I just wanted to enhance what Sir pointed out, that are we compromising on human job reserved the machine? I'll just give you a small example where we are doing contemplating a project. It's a hillside resort with a lot of uphill and downhill kind of a road structure, where serving food into the cottages is a challenge because there are golf carts going and there is a rough terrain. So whenever the person is going to take the food from through the golf cart, there is always a chance of food spilling over and it's taking time and all. So we as security, as a technology people, we are proposing them a drone-based food delivery in front of each and every cottage. So this is how the technology can enhance or can increase the hospitality rather than compromising on the jobs. That's a small point which I wanted to make.
Thank you.
And just to add to your in security, sir, I'll give you one small example of security if time permits. There are millions of cameras you're putting up, CCTV surveillance, to secure your premises, secure hotels and all that. But how much you still have one person sitting looking at 150, 160 or 200 cameras, but this is like he cannot see everything and visualize where something is wrong. This artificial intelligence will give you, the person is still sitting there, will give you, okay, there is a disconnect happening at reception, there is a problem, there is a sensor, there is a, and it will automatically give you alert and report. That's what AI is all about. But still, the person is sitting, observing the cameras manually also.
So you will have to now decide on the prizes for these questions. Which question gets a prize?
Yeah, I guess let the panel also decide which one is there. We had questions from Mr. Kaur, Mr. Anand. Some wanted to know more about the metaverse and the other things. I would say that metaverse question. The metaverse question is the thing.
I must say, Ishan explained it very beautifully. It was very accurate.
And our prizes are from Eternia, our platinum sponsor.